Hello and welcome into Everything Else with Joshua Brisco. I'm Joshua Brisco, obviously. It'd be weird if I wasn't. Happy game day. Happy Red Friday. Happy Red Game Day. We'll keep working on the branding. We have a meaningful Kansas City Chiefs football game kicking off in Sao Paulo, Brazil in a number of, not days, but hours. A Friday beginning to an NFL season. I'm going to tell you, my day has already started before this episode began. It's going to continue into a late night tonight, just as it will for, I have to assume, all of you watching, listening, enjoying today's program, hopefully enjoying. And I could not be more excited. It is going to be hectic. It is going to be a hair on fire Friday. But man, we have truly everything to talk about. We will go for the playmakers and the pass catchers. We will go from the coaches and the quarterbacks. We've got some truly tremendous things that happened last night on Thursday Night Football. I guess Sunday Night Football on Thursday night kickoff. I don't think we're going to always talk about Thursday Night Football on this show that happens on Friday, but if something interesting happens, we will. Several interesting things happened last night, including the fact that one of those teams is who the Chiefs have next. I'll just go ahead and say right now, I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I think if the NFL is serious about player actions, Jalen Carter has to be suspended for one game. I think if he's suspended for 2 games, it is corporate overreach. Jalen Carter does not deserve a 2-game suspension. He deserves exactly 1 game on the sidelines in week 2, beginning in week 2, whoever the Eagles play next week. But I digress, because the game that matters is the one in Brazil tonight. And I think I have started to feel slightly better, slightly more confident in the Chiefs standing in this game over the last 24 hours, maybe last 12 hours, honestly, because even going through yesterday's episode of Only Weird Games, I know where these matchups are going to end up coming from, and I know where I can say advantage Chiefs, advantage Chargers. I think the interesting thing here is that both teams have maybe just a smidge of disaster potential in really important places. And so it's funny because I know what I've talked about for the majority of my time talking about football, but I really am starting in the trenches right now. And I kind of think we're starting with the running game in a pretty big way. Not that it's going to determine who wins and loses this game. Ultimately, Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert are going to have chances to win this game. The big plays in the passing game and the consistency in the pass pro and the consistency in the weapons around them, that's going to be an enormous factor. But I think the most interesting stuff right now starts in the trenches. First of all, a bit of news from minutes ago. Mekhi Becton, the Chargers guard who was brought in to kind of bolster that interior, he is now questionable for tonight's game with an illness. Now, I have no further info. If anybody, this is the beauty of a live show, I guess. If Tucker sees something, he'll let me know. If you see something, you can pop it in the chat. I'll keep my eye on the chat in a little bit. I think Tucker probably is keeping an eye on it now as well. So we'll have some comments pop up as we do this live and figure out the rhythm of this show as we get into, I guess, also, I'm just going to mention for the visual audience before back into the Chief stuff, the full widescreen view of my home office here, home studio. I'm really happy with this. I haven't seen it like this live in a show yet. We got the beautiful lower third. I've found a way to feature my Fantastic Mr. Fox poster in a major way. I have 5 to 7 piplups back here behind this excellent KCSN sign. Shout out to Scott. And all 6 of these posters back here, and some original art from Renee. That's the KCSN draft show there. So anyway, I'm feeling very much at home because I am at home. I'm feeling very much in my element, and I'm feeling very good about the fact that we're here for Chiefs Chargers. So Mekhi Becton, whatever his status ends up actually being, I have to imagine that he hasn't had a great 12 hours to suddenly show up on the injury report, parentheses, illness. I imagine that there has been some amount of distress going through Mekhi Becton's body, of whatever sort that is. I have no idea. Frankly, I'm okay not knowing. But now Mekhi Becton, even as we've talked a lot about the Chiefs defensive tackle depth issues that I think we're still going to get to, even in the show today. Now Mekhi Becton, let me check the depth chart. The Chiefs have some depth issues at defensive tackle. Derek Nani, Omar Norman Lott, Jerry Tillery. Chris Jones. Hey, Chris, I've got some crazy news for you. The guy the Chargers went out and got to try to help handle you a little, and it's not going to be any one man's job, but one of their main pieces to try to limit the Chris Jones effect in this game, whatever he's got going on was enough to make him questionable with an illness the day of the game. If he doesn't play, we're in full backup territory, and if he doesn't play, I'll tell you what, things are getting even more bleak than that, because Trey Pipkins is already moving back out to right tackle. He was essentially aggressively demoted, I think, over the course of this offseason. He played a lot of tackle. Last year, he played guard. This year, he was demoted and into a depth piece. More on him in a minute. But now you could be at a place where Becton is at less than 100%, assuming he's out there at all. A wonderful introduction to the start of the 2025 season for Chris Jones. And now, Pipkins is going to spend, I assume, the majority of his day across from George Karlaftis. Maybe if there's some movement, you get no break with Mike Dana or Charles Omenihu. This is an opportunity for the Chiefs front four to start the season significantly better than they did last year. I think one of the details of last season that's been lost to history a little bit in the months that followed, in the nail biter games and obviously the playoff run and then a disappointing Super Bowl. I think we've largely kind of forgotten that the first half of the season in particular, I think I would say, and you're dealing without a Omenihu for a huge chunk there, but Omenihu didn't come back at 100%, it didn't seem like. I have higher hopes for him this year, honestly. But the front four, or the four-man pass rush last year, was not very effective for a long time. You get a Spags blitz dialed up and you can generate some pressure. You play with your personnel a little bit, you can generate some pressure. The Chiefs have great blitzers everywhere across the defense. They've got some of the best blitzing corners, safeties, and linebackers in football. More really, the defensive backs especially are that much better than I think their contemporaries by and large. Then you get a Leo Chanel, Leroy Jenkins right up the A-gap, and that's also a weapon in this defense. So they found ways to generate some pressure, but a lot of the stress last year around the Chiefs secondary, I think, was exacerbated by a lack of four-man pressure. If you have to sell out to get to the quarterback, it makes life harder on your corners, and if you can get a little bit of pressure, you're acknowledging that now your defensive backs only have to cover for so long, because eventually you impact the quarterback and the ball goes somewhere else. The Chiefs tonight are going up against a backup right tackle with a funny backstory that I discovered today that I think will make you happy if you're a Chiefs fan or a Reddit enjoyer. No beards today. No sad fans today. It's just I have a Reddit gem to share with you. But you have Pipkins in the first game of what they want to be the rest of his season, because Rashawn Slater's out on the left side. They move Joe Alt over. Pipkins steps in. You get the first crack at Trey Pipkins' experiment, trying to reclaim his ability to play tackle. And now Chris Jones can line up from whoever on the offensive line looks the least well. This could be, I'm not predicting it at this point, frankly, but this could be an opportunity for a very hot start from a defensive line group that has not had a hot stretch of football in quite a while. Chris Jones, the best defensive tackle in football, still to this day for my money, but he's been above anybody not named Aaron Donald for the vast majority of his NFL career. George Karlaftis got rewarded with a big contract extension this year. I think I totally understand why he got that extension, and the money's not all kicking in yet, but I understand why he got the extension. You still want to see him take, if not another step, he must be brutally effective and brutally efficient for the entire life of his contract. This is a time for the stars of your D-line to step up. And maybe a sick Becton or however the interior shakes out, maybe this is an opportunity for Jerry Tillery. Because when we talked about the defensive tackle group, I know we talked about it a lot on Monday, the strangeness of the Mike Pennell move and all of that. And maybe Marlon Tuipulotu gets the call up today from the practice squad. Omar Norman Lott's questionable. He's been dealing with his ankle thing since what feels like the start of training camp. I still just don't think there are enough bodies on the interior for a Chargers team that's going to run the ball a lot. If Omar's been dealing with an injury, and Derek Nottie played like 20% of your snaps last year. One or two of those guys get banged up, and now you are literally underprepared at tackle. So maybe somebody gets called up. We'll see. But if they can take advantage of the matchups here, Justin Herbert is sped up. He's fine. He'll operate under pressure still too. I like Herbert a lot. But you can speed up Justin Herbert, and maybe you can have the first punch thrown on your behalf in the run game. Because if the Chargers do get thrown out of their strategy coming into this game, I feel like the Chiefs defense ends up with the upper hand. If you haven't been following how Trey Pipkins' last 6 months or so have gone, I want to share this with you. So again, Pipkins moved from tackle to guard. The Chargers retool their O-line to get him out of the starting lineup. Now he's back at right tackle. So if it's George Karlaftis or whoever it is other than Chris Jones, I need somebody to win that matchup consistently tonight, in addition to Chris Jones winning his matchups, perhaps against the sick Mekhi Becton. Here's something funny I found on the Chargers subreddit today. I didn't go into the subreddit looking for stuff. I was looking for some more details on where exactly Pipkins has been lining up and everything over his Chargers career, and seeing how things landed. Here's what I found on Reddit. This is from 6 months ago on reddit.com/r/Chargers. Opinion: Trey Pipkins is not going to be cut this offseason. This ended up being proven true, okay? Some text from the Reddit post. I've been seeing a few posts on here recently suggesting that Pipkins may be cut, with a lot of fans supporting the move, but I strongly disagree with that sentiment, and I have significant doubt that the team would do that for multiple reasons. One, we, the Chargers, we already have depth problems across the offensive line, so getting rid of him doesn't help. Two, he can play multiple positions on the line. Three, he's familiar with the offense and coaching. Four, he has, parentheses, limited chemistry with the other linemen. Pipkins is not a good starter and should 100% have his starting role taken by another player this offseason, but teams don't just let versatile offensive line depth walk, especially when your line is paper-thin depth-wise as is. For those that who would prefer to cut him, feel free to start a discussion in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious why so many people think it's a foregone conclusion. This post has 112 comments and 30 upvotes. That's not the ratio of a Reddit post that people are agreeing with, if you're not on Reddit very much. The top comment, 65 upvotes, more than double the post itself, says, "You must not realize the amount they'd save by cutting him. That in itself is more valuable than anything else you just listed here." Top comment in a runaway. Obviously, the original poster here is correct. You don't let veteran linemen walk for no reason with some versatility. They needed depth. They ended up suffering the worst injury their offensive line could suffer, losing Rashawn Slater on the left side, and now Pipkins is back in the starting lineup. 6 months ago, by a very unofficial ratio of about 2-1, counting up votes and subtracting the down votes, by about 2-1, 6 months ago, Chargers fans were not only wanting, but assuming that Trey Pipkins would not be on this roster today. Now he's starting at right tackle, protecting Justin Herbert, playing his part in the run game, and should be lining up across from relentless George Karlaftis, Steve Spagnuolo's entire defensive game plan to keep things messy for the Chargers. And I feel pretty good about that. If you told me the Chargers offensive line won them this game, I go, okay, well, it makes sense that would be the thing that did it. That's the thing that overperformed, or that's the unit that outsold their expectations. But if you tell me the Chiefs win this game and they win it by 2 touchdowns, I'm pretty sure it's going to include a really nice day for the pass rush or the defensive line in general. On the other hand, if the Chargers are able to run the ball with a lack of beef on the interior for the Chiefs, if Jerry Tillery can't be out there for 70% of the snaps, or if 70% of Jerry Tillery isn't what you want to see by the end of the game, then the Chargers running game could completely change the tenor of this thing right out of the gate. I think it's fascinating. I think this game is going to be tremendously, tremendously interesting. And it wouldn't surprise me if we get to halftime and we feel like we have a pretty good idea of how this is going down. Now, that would have betrayed you last night because the first half, second half Eagles look like different football teams, or maybe even the pre and post lightning delay, a totally different. God, I hope we don't have a lightning delay in Brazil tonight. That would be a misery. We had a lightning delay in the kickoff game last year for the Chiefs. Chiefs-Ravens was delayed by like 30 minutes off the top. Can't have a lightning delay tonight. Will not allow that. On the other side, flip the field real quick. Are we going to see a Chiefs running game that we're excited about again? I'm hopeful. I don't know if I'm optimistic, but I'm hopeful. I've been kind of buying the Isaiah Pacheco resurgence. I feel like the needle just moved way too much on him based on an injury and then coming back not 100% on a broken leg. So I think that Isaiah Pacheco and Seth Kaiser of Only Weird Games talked about this quite a bit yesterday on Weird Games, and I think has done a good job highlighting this as it's gone. But you have 4 road graders in this offensive line. And Juwan Taylor, which again, sounds like a joke every time. It's really not. But you have 4 plus run blockers, and then Taylor on the right side is fine. What Seth kind of broke down and reminded me of was that last year, what the Chargers did defensively that worked against Patrick Mahomes was so many of those defensive line games, so many twists and stunts and things to where it's not just bringing the pressure from where you would expect. It's actually kind of letting Mahomes break the pocket and then you close in. It made Mahomes look uncomfortable, which he doesn't look uncomfortable very often. If the Chiefs can punish a defensive line that should not be able to move their O-line's bodies, I would love for a 100-yard game from Isaiah Pacheco tonight, where you just go out there, move dudes around, get a couple of deep shots to Tyquan Thornton and Xavier Worthy somewhere in there. Not in that order, probably. I don't know why I led with Tyquan Thornton. I'm hopeful. That's where I'm at. But you build that offense out right there. Running game looks good. Move bodies in the trenches. Hit a couple deep shots. Have your efficient stuff with Travis Kelce. I want to see Hollywood Brown look healthy and like a part of the offense. I could really see us coming in here and having a good long weekend. Have a little border war on Saturday. Have a little red zone. We might talk about that. Red zone featuring commercials on Sunday. And we might come in here on Monday just feeling wonderful. Going, man, yep, we thought this, but now we know the Chiefs are simply better than the Chargers. Fantastic. I think there's a chance of that, and I would love to see it. I think if it's going to look frustrating, it's probably going to be because the Chiefs' trenches did not live up to the expectations and the hopes that we had for them. That the pass protection isn't good enough. If that's a Josh Simmons week 1, game 1 rookie struggles, if that's Kingsley losing fast, or if it's the Chargers O-line still being able to move the Chiefs around in their running game, those are the 2 things that have to happen. Maybe that's easy enough analysis because most football games do, in fact, start in the trenches. But I think it's incredibly true here. I think the Chiefs have advantage at quarterback, even though I love Justin Herbert. I think their pass catching options between the 2 teams are kind of funny to compare because they have, like, Ladd McConkey, I think, is a top dog. And then you start going, oh, yeah, Keenan Allen's back. Quentin Johnston is still theoretically on this team. Obviously, the Chiefs are doing it without Rashee Rice. I think the build of this game is going to be a fascinating one. And unfortunately, I can't just make it start now. So we'll take a break, come back. We'll bring in Tucker. We'll talk a little bit more about Chiefs Chargers, a little bit what we saw last night, and keep rolling on here on everything else.
Shop Chiefs tickets and more with no fees. Plus, save big with code KCSN at ticketsforless.com, the official ticket provider of KC Sports Network.
What's up, guys? I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network, and I'm here to talk to Kansas City businesses. If you rely on technology, you need an IT support team that's not just another vendor, but a true IT partner. That's how I want to introduce you to my friend and neighbor, KJ Miller. He is a VCIO at ThrottleNet, the Midwest's highest rated and most reviewed IT support company. They've been in business for more than 25 years, helping companies stay secure, productive, and ahead of the curve. They aren't just IT support, but they provide data security, IT strategy, and cloud software services. They do it all, and their reviews show they do it better than anyone else. So if you want to hear about how ThrottleNet can help your local business, join the conversation with myself, KJ Miller from ThrottleNet, and our resident genius from KC Sports Network when it comes to IT, at least as he's affectionately known by us, Mr. Craig Stout. Click the link in the description to hear how ThrottleNet can help you.
Okay, I'm looking at my phone here because we've got news, Tucker. We've got a little additional information from our dear friend Nate Taylor. He has tweeted, "Here's your first look at the field here in Sao Paulo. The first test will be when the players go through their warm-ups."
Let me get it on screen.
You can see it here on screen momentarily if you're watching. Yeah, this is live, baby. This is how it works. I'll let you see it on screen. I'll describe what I'm seeing for everybody in the audio space.
Oh yeah.
Looks fine. Looks all right. I don't know. Nate's in the Chargers end zone here. There's a kind of an interesting textural thing going on the back end of the back line. But the actual field itself looks pretty good on a couple of phone pictures. There's no visible divots or anything like we were seeing perhaps on that practice field that the Chiefs were walking through on yesterday. First thought is that it looks all right from here. We talked about this throughout the week, and it's true. This is a thing where the NFL just has had too many times where they haven't gotten it right, and to make the international thing work, you just have to get this part right. You cannot send the best of your league out to international games and then have them either get hurt or not be able to play their best because the playing surface is bad. If the playing surface works, I think everything else becomes much more excusable. You did the walkthrough on what looked like a high school field. Sure. It was a walkthrough. But you can't have the games be, no pun intended here, but I'll take it. You can't have the games be muddied by the field conditions. That looks all right.
It does
again, at least from
field, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. The painted end zones look immaculate. I would not have seen this without context and thought oh, this must be an international game, right? It looks good to me. And again, hopefully the NFL has just kind of learned their lesson time and time again. But like Nate said, other than this update from him right here, we're probably not going to have another real update until we see him take the field in a little while. So keep an eye on that as warm-ups come around, and I'll have you covered over on the pregame show over on the Chiefs Radio Network. We'll talk about the weather and the field conditions a number of times because that's obviously a huge question for this game. Tucker, you've also talked about this game a number of times to this point. Do you have anything from the trench discussion here for Chiefs Chargers before we spend a little time on last night's festivities?
Obviously, the big thing for me is going to be Joshua Simmons. I think Joshua Simmons is the biggest thing. I understand that the Chargers are dealing with injuries and woes on their side, but truthfully, they should have been fine if they weren't dealing with the injuries. The Chargers have a decent O-line. Their tackles are really good. Rashawn Slater, I know he got hurt early on in training camp. Great tackle, but their interior of their offensive line is not great. Mekhi Becton was playing in between two phenomenal football players last year in Philadelphia, and I think that kind of inflated his value a little bit. Mekhi Becton, by the way, we were talking about this in the chat. He's had an interesting offseason. I don't know if you are fully aware of what Mekhi Becton had been up to this offseason.
I remember seeing several Chargers offensive linemen having weird different things going on in their offseason. Do you want to enlighten me on which one was what was Becton's deal? Or is this something that we just let everybody else Google?
I think this is a let everybody else Google type of deal. It is very funny.
Okay.
That he has now suffering an illness because he's just had himself one heck of an offseason.
Oh man, I might need. Can I get a preview of what we're not going to officially endorse on this show?
Let me pull it up because I don't want to get any alleged details wrong.
Yeah, I don't want. In fact, I don't even know if I want any alleged details at all. I can't find. Now all the Mekhi Becton news is all about him.
Actually, hang on. Maybe Spin Zone. This is what Mekhi Becton wanted. But Mekhi Becton needed to be put on the injury list. You know how like the whole Disney Frozen thing, how they did Frozen, so people stopped Googling Walt Disney's head Frozen, so they made a movie called Frozen. So when you type in Disney Frozen, Walt Disney Frozen, it comes up with the Frozen movie. Mekhi Becton did this to get his news, to get his business out of people's heads. What? Great move on his part. What if I just type in Google Mekhi Becton TMZ? Because I'm not finding anything either. I don't want to get any of the details wrong. Yeah. See, man, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this.
See, now I'm afraid. Now I don't see. Oh, well, now I've got something from. Okay. All right. So I have found. I have found an alleged detail.
Yes.
But I am not confident at all in these outlets.
Oh yeah, I found it. Yeah.
So you know what?
He just had an accident.
Who knows? It's nothing nefarious as far as I could tell. Maybe
Jackie,
a little.
I don't know if that's true about Frozen. I said conspiracy theory. I want that to be clear. I don't know if that's technically.
I think you said.
Frozen.
You know how Disney did. I think you said it in a factual way, and I do not want to get sued by Disney.
Jackie also said
it's out there.
Yeah. What did Becton pull in Anthony Edwards? I think it's similar. If you are familiar with the Anthony Edwards, yeah, I think that is a part of it. But then his leaving some skid marks in his drawers was a part.
Whoa! Who said that? We don't know that. We can't verify that.
Allegedly.
Don't bring your muck raking over here. Don't bring your yellow journalism to this show. Is that what that's called? It's been a long time since I took that media class.
To be fair, I want to give TMZ credit. They didn't pick the story up. So it must not have any legs.
Good for them, man. If TMZ's like, I don't know, we're not going to touch that. It's like, oh, okay, well, damn.
They are our moral compass.
Everybody's got a line. And apparently that's theirs. You know who had a much thinner line than I expected them to? Jalen Carter. Yeah. You want to talk about your bodily fluids going places they shouldn't be. Hey, buddy. PSA, don't spit on people. Last night was breathtaking on a number of levels. From literally before the first play from scrimmage through the end of the game, there were like 15 things that I was just so happy to have back in our life again. I was flabbergasted, like everybody else, with the Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott and being ejected before Jalen Carter touched a Dallas Cowboy. That was crazy. But then, after the lightning delay, we get the extra camera footage, and we found out Han Solo, Greedo, Dak spat first. Not on Jalen Carter, but in the direction of Jalen Carter. And that I would have probably still acquitted Dak from this entirely.
Yeah.
Until the head nod. If you see in that slow-mo, he hawks a loogie and appears to just barrel right down the camera to Jalen Carter and gives a little, yeah, you like that? A little whimsical, a little smirk and a little nod. Like, yeah, that was intended in your direction, perhaps, which I think Dak has denied in his press conference, which is, what you would do if even if it was true. It was an amazing game for Dak Prescott on the field after that moment. Maybe his play of the game happened before he took a snap.
That's a great point.
Breathtaking.
I was floored. Not only did this, so a part of this too, you have an injury on the very first play of the season, and thoughts and prayers go out to the poor fullback linebacker who tore his ACL. Well, we don't know he did, but like if you see it, he tore his ACL. Okay. Also, the same knee that he also hurt last season to go out for the season. So like that's also brutal. And as you're seeing NBC get the closest shot of his life on his face, where you can just see him say, "It's not effing fair." He said, "What the F? It's not effing fair." Ugh. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
he's just sitting there, blank face, because he knows what happened, right? Like he's just coming off this injury. As you're seeing that, there's a scuffle happening, and there's a flag being thrown, and you're like, "Wait, what is happening?
What?
This dude is injured, and they're fighting. They're fighting because he's injured. No, he's not fighting. I will say, Dak Hell of a move by him. Very good mind game. Love that.
Every single quarterback across from Jalen Carter should do that the rest of the season.
I legitimately don't think it was one of those things where he was like, I'm going to do this to get in his head, right? But I think he did it because what Dak is saying is he needed to spit. So he reached out. I mean, I've never really thought about this. He spit over his offensive lineman, whatever. And I think that for his reasoning, I think he's saying he spit there and then he saw Jalen Carter and was like, sup.
Right.
And then Jalen Carter was like, oh, I'm going to spit on you.
On you. I think the thing that Dak did that was the best was Dak then walking through to get within spitting distance as Carter. And look, Jalen Carter should not have walked across where the line of scrimmage was going to be.
To be fair, this guy's judgment's not very good.
100%. Well, and that's like last night when it was all happening. I had gotten down to my TV a minute late, so I saw on my phone that had started. And I was explaining to Renee, like, I've never seen this happen. I don't think I've ever seen anybody spit on a quarterback and get ejected before the game started. And she was like, yeah, but what's going on? Like, why did he do that? I was like, well, so Jalen Carter, and like, that was the next 5 minutes, was like explaining all of that. But it was just absolutely mind boggling and kind of delightful.
I will say, Tara's pretty heavy on the Swiftie Twitter. And there was a Swiftie tweet that Tara showed me that said, wait, the spit guy killed 2 people?
Allegedly, connectedly.
Yeah.
This is the second episode of this show, man. We're going to have Mekhi Becton and Jalen Carter.
And Disney.
I was saying coming for us. That's not true. Coming for you. Man. Tucker D. Franklin. Not necessarily reflective of the opinions of Joshua Brisco, but often.
But I forgot how good Dak was. I'll say hand up, that one's on me. I forgot that Dak was actually a good quarterback. In my head, I already thought Dak was washed and he was bad. I was like, why are people putting him in the top 10? And then I watched him do that, and I'm like, oh, yeah. That's right. I remember now. Dak Prescott is actually pretty good. I remember why Jerry Jones gave him $500 million now.
He hasn't been healthy in forever. He's been dealing with something for long enough. It's the last thing you see is usually the thing that you remember. And 100%. What I wrote down last night to remember to talk about today, and then this morning in the shower, I nailed what I think is going to be the tortured comparison here. We're reaching like Colin Cowherd levels of Dak Prescott is like, but I'm gonna do it. We're gonna rip it, and you're gonna tell me if this works. But Dak Prescott is very good. He's just overplayed. The reason that people are sick of hearing about Dak Prescott, and this happens with quarterbacks all the time, where like Trevor Lawrence, it wasn't as good as he was supposed to be, and then so you see him do some good things, and you're, well, that's still hugely disappointing. Justin Herbert, if you only watch him in some playoff games, you're going to have a bad opinion about a guy that has played some really good football. It's the kind of thing that happens. Guys get anointed, and you go, I'm sick of hearing about these guys. Well, Dak Prescott has spent like 6 consecutive off seasons in the A block of First Take. It's Dak's contract, it's Dak's injury, it's Dak's Cowboys, it's Jerry Jones. It's the Cowboys have a way with a news cycle that is frustrating to all of us. Dak Prescott is Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh.
Now here we go. Now you might think, Josh, that's the end of your thought. That's not a whole bit. Well, you hold on. Most of what I know about Sabrina Carpenter at this point is just from what people have said about Sabrina Carpenter on the internet.
Okay.
I see clips from concerts every once in a while, and I see a lot of discourse. And I'm sick of the discourse, despite thinking I'm realizing now that I'm careening towards middle-aged radio host territory here. But I think I've heard like 5 Sabrina Carpenter songs, and they all seem fine. They all seem pretty good. Espresso, banger.
It is good.
But I haven't sought out, I never went back and listened to the full album, which is fine. I don't need to hear everything all the time. But I think that's where Dak is at. I think he's just a huge star whose stardom has actually exceeded what he does by a little bit. And then now you're comparing him to impossible standards. Patrick Mahomes is Taylor Swift, and that's not just friendly territory in Chiefs Kingdom synergy. I think that's right. Most decorated, the best. We're kind of this. I'm not going back to older. We're sticking with the modern current era.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen might be Chapel Roan. I'm not sure. I'm here for your help now, Tucker, because I have great love and okay, sell me on it. I don't know anything about Gracie Abrams other than her name. I think I know what she looks like.
It's J.J. Abrams' daughter. Do you know that?
If I did, I'd forgotten it again until this moment.
Shout out Nepo babies. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah!
I don't think that's Josh Allen. I think you need to give Josh Allen more than that.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think that's
Casey
probably
Musgrave?
fair.
Is that anything?
Casey, that's a good one. I was trying to
You know
think
the
of
one
like people.
You know the one I really like?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Jaden Daniels, Olivia Rodrigo.
that's a
Great debut.
That's a great one.
Got to see it again. Got to see it again.
That's a good one. I know that you're trying to stick with musicians, but I think Sydney Sweeney might be a better comp for Dak.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's fair. You have broken my game, but in a fair way.
But you're going with musicians, so like that's not fair for. I'm playing a different game at that point. Like this is like house rules, Call back to limited games.
Right. Right, which we've railed against already, and I will not allow. So your submission is hereby formally denied. That is genuinely, that's where I'm at with Dak, though. It's like watching him actually do his thing and be great last night was like, oh yeah, great reminder of the star power of this dude. And if he was on any other team, I think that the ball-knowing football talking heads would be talking about how everyone underappreciates Dak Prescott because he's the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans.
Ooh, maybe he will be in the future. A quick game. Verderman did this to me the other day.
Okay.
Probably a couple weeks ago. Do you know Dak Prescott's cap hit next year?
Oh no, I bet it's
go look at it. I want
million.
you to go. I want to get a live reaction of Dak Prescott's cap hit. You need to look at it because it is actually, it is actually one of the things that was pretty good.
My official guess was 60 million. I'm guessing it's going to be significantly higher than that. 74. Hell yeah! Can I get a hell yeah? $74 million.
Hell yeah!
$74 million. Look, I mean, good quarterback.
20 million if that's prorated. His base salary is 40. So they get that down a little bit, but holy smokes!
Shout out Dak, man. Shout out for getting.
They've already got 4 void years down there. Oh, some of them don't have money attached yet. What's going on?
It is an awful. Who's this? Are you on Spot Track? Are you on? What are you on right now?
Spot Track. CAA. Agent? Todd France.
Todd France, hell of an agent, by the way. He is
he?
Actually
like
really good agent. Yeah, he's top 5. Top 5. And that might be Chris one Collinsworth of the agents
saying that
Jerry will talk to.
Apparently they have a better relationship. I enjoyed Chris Collinsworth saying last night, you'd pay Micah Parsons and you'd be paying like half your salary cap to 3 players. Like, yeah, that's true. You still made those decisions in that order, and you could have signed any of them sooner. Like none of you, nobody, unless I'm forgetting something, none of those 3 contracts ever were handled, let's say, ahead of the curve. Which
the CeeDee Lamb contract they signed like on the way to the stadium for the first game.
Yeah,
if you remember right. Yeah. Like I mean that contract was also shout out. Who's CD's agent? Get him on the phone. That's who I need as my agent. But CD tough.
You think he's maximizing your value? Bro, no kidding, man. The first half was like, oh yeah, CeeDee Lamb is a top 5 receiver, and we know this. Like this is, I mean, the separation that he gets was remarkable, and then the ball was separating from his hand. Tory Dandy, Jimmy Sexton, CAA for CeeDee Lamb. So
same company.
Maybe Jerry likes the CAA guys. I don't know.
Could be.
Let's do this, Tucker. Let's sorry, I can't. We might have just like the half second of a delay that has just really, on Monday we were sitting at a bar together, having our chat, and now we got to figure out we're gonna have to get into our remote workflow, and we're going to. It's gonna work. It's gonna be okay. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Tucker?
I don't know.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about. Well, I'll tell you what. It's good. The name of the bit will be revealed on the other side. Tucker and I are going to tell you each about 2 things for Chiefs Chargers we're looking forward to.
What's good, everyone? It is KCSN betting analyst Benny Heiss. Something hit me as I was driving to the Missouri side. Ironically, for something not available on the Kansas side, I cross over. I just can't get over how long sports fans in the state of Missouri have been waiting. It feels like forever. The good news is you don't have to wait much longer because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is finally coming to the Show Me State. And if you're thinking, yeah, but I got to wait on the sidelines until December 1st, it's not true. You can sign up right now. And when we go live, new Missouri customers get $300 in bonus bets just for placing a $5 bet. $5. That's not even as much as a pumpkin spice latte that's going to take over. So it's not some ragtag sports, but this is DraftKings. You got live in-game betting. So if your team starts hot, you could jump in mid-play. There's lightning fast payouts. None of that wait 3 days for your money nonsense. And you've got more ways to get in on the action. There's no better way to start. It's all from your phone. When we go live, you'll be betting with the sportsbook trusted by millions, safe, secure, fast withdrawals, everything you want. Well, except maybe a guarantee that your team will cover the spread, but that part's still on you. So here's the move. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code KCSN, and when we go live December 1st, that $5 bet turns into $300 in bonus bets. That is code KCSN in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after they are issued. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good stuff happening live here in the YouTube chat. Sir Hunks a lot says the D stands for defamation suit. And now Tucker has a poll going on. I don't even know how to see it.
It's only on YouTube. You can only see it on the YouTube's end, on the back end. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching live, you can vote on the poll. And the question is Tucker, I didn't mean to highlight that comment, but I actually did want to talk about it from Jackie about is it Ferguson sucks, why they pay him?
Yeah.
Ferguson was had his neck on the guillotine block last night, like 8 times it felt like. The fact that he survived that game felt good to me. He should have caught a couple of those probably, but I also was like worried for his literal physical human health. Tucker, what are the poll results right now what's the phrasing here? Tucker going to receive a defamation suit?
Will Tucker land a defamation lawsuit before the week is up is the question I asked. Week is up. I mean, we have all the way till Sunday. Sidebar, is Sunday the end of the week or the start of the week?
I'm glad. Thank you. Now, Tucker, we didn't make a graphic for this, but I do feel like that's a position we're capable for. Or actually, we had gotten distracted again. I feel like we deserve the TV frame for when does the week start? A great question.
All right,
my calendar is set up to where there it is. Oh, it looks so good. My calendar, like the Google Calendar default, is that the new week starts on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you said yep, just kicking off the week here on my, Sunday, starting a new week with the Red Zone channel, I think is unhinged. I don't think that can be. I mean, it's called the weekend, not the weekend and beginning.
So I'm going to say Sunday is the end of the poll. So if I get a defamation lawsuit by Sunday, 59% say yes, 49% say, or 41% say no way.
Okay. I hope some of those 41% are lawyers who want
now to. We have to. Now, hang on. I got to make a new poll. Is Sunday the start or the end of the week?
Great question. Put it out there. I think
I've derailed the show. I'm sorry.
No. This show is meant to be derailed. We've talked about this game a lot, and I'm going to talk about it for 3 more hours today before it starts. So we're good. I think if you want to go really literal and do when does the calendar roll over? I think we've accepted that. But again, I mean, it's simply it's called the weekend. It's the end of the week. Your week ends. You get the Sunday scaries because Monday is the start of the work week, as we say, business days. I think literally and legally, you may have an argument about Sunday being the beginning of the week. In just normal human interaction, it's the weekend.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I am much the older I get, the more I find myself to be like Garfield the cat.
Oh, I hate Mondays and
I
love
hate
lasagna.
Mondays and I love lasagna. Yep. I mean, that's really what it is. I love me a good lasagna. Had lasagna the other night, went to my parents' house after only we were games actually on Tuesday. Went to my parents' house, had a great lasagna. And I was like, man, I hate Mondays. And as I was eating the lasagna, I realized I am Garfield. I am Garfield the cat.
We obviously have our two wonderful dogs, Scout and Hopper, and Scout might be almost 10 at this point, I think. Renee will inform me in the chat momentarily, and Hop's like 2. And obviously they're both dogs, and neither of them are cats. But on a regular basis, Scout goes through the entire experience of looking like she wants to send Hopper to Abu Dhabi, which is, of course, where Garfield was always shipping normal. We just have that. That's just free entertainment that just lives in our house 24/7. They usually get along great, but every once in a while, Hopper just has like a little too much energy and is just like chewing on Scout's paws. I think because he thinks all dogs are supposed to have 3 paws, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's not spiteful. I think it's like, hey, you got an extra one. You don't need that. Let me just gnaw that off.
Yeah.
So big Garfield energy in this house lately. Scout's really been getting to her inner Garfield, even as a small fluffy white dog.
Well, I think any dog under 50 pounds is a cat. So I think it's right.
Really interesting.
Scout is 10.
I think we have to end the
Shout out
show.
Renee.
What did Renee say?
Scout is 10.
Boom,
Where's
nailed
it
it.
well? Where's it well?
Oh, really? She really does. She really does. Aging very gracefully. All right, let's bring in a new segment. I had an even worse title for it previously, but now I've nailed it for at least this week. And if somebody comes up with a better title, fine. But I do like the anagram of this one, or the abbreviation of this one. One worry, one wish, or a new segment. Ow, ow! One thing you're worried about, one thing you're hoping to see from Chiefs Chargers. Tucker, let's get our worries out of the way first. Let's cast out our worries, and then we can begin to enjoy what we're hoping to see. I'm going to go ahead and triple dip on something I've talked about 100 times. I'm worried about the run defense and the interior of the Chiefs defensive line. I don't think it's doomed to fail. I'm just worried about it. Again, if you tell me they call up Marlon from the practice squad, I'll say, okay, well, it's nice to have another body there. And, somebody else ends up being a healthy scratch. But he's coming up from the practice squad. Wasn't exactly a super hot commodity. If you tell me Omar Norman Lott is going to be getting a lot of work at one tech, I'll say, okay, that's interesting, but it'll be the first time in his life that has been true. Like, he didn't do that in college, so I'm concerned. I feel pretty good about Jerry Tillery. I feel great about Chris Jones. It's still a lot to put on Tillery to say, hey, man, you're kind of here on a 1-year deal to kind of not reclaim, but kind of rejuvenate your career a little bit after some ups and downs to this point. Come on in and do exactly what we asked Tershawn Wharton to do last year before he got a massive payday. Like, you are asking Tillery to overachieve. I'm a little bit worried about the interior defensive line and the run defense throughout. What are you worried about?
I am worried that Kingsley Suamataia is going to play like Kingsley Suamataia played last year. That is the biggest worry. That I know we just spent a whole lot of time talking about the trenches, and we both went trenches in this worry part, which
Football
very
guys.
funny. Yeah, we're just big football guys. I know Jackie's been all over it in the chat, but I'm with him. Shout out Jackie for this. But if Kingsley Suamataia isn't the Kingsley Suamataia we saw in the 3rd preseason game, that's going to be a problem. If Kingsley Suamataia has those Chernobyl-level snaps that Matt Verderame likes to call them, what a wildly dramatic way to put it, too. Anyway.
An insane thing to say.
It is.
Incredibly Verderame.
Chernobyl-level disaster snaps. If he has those, it's a lot tougher at guard than it is at tackle. And they were pretty tough at tackle. I mean, they were bad at tackle, but if there are quick wins on the inside, Patrick Mahomes is screwed. And it just amplifies it even more. He is going to be next to Creed Humphrey, which I do think will help him. I know that people like to tell me that center's the easiest position in football to play and that even a dummy can play it. And apparently the best left tackle ever to play. He already has his gold jacket. He's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think to start this game, he's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Joshua Simmons, he's going to be right next to him. So theoretically, he should be fine. theoretically, this could be like a Mekhi Becton situation last year, right? Maybe he looks better. Maybe this elevates King Sumati a little bit. But what if it doesn't?
Yep.
That's what I'm worried about. That it won't, and it ruins everything.
I think it's a tremendously fair worry, and we didn't get nearly enough in the preseason to just not be worried about it anymore. The third preseason game was the best of the three. The thing that's fascinating to me is that we never saw Jalen Moore take snaps at left guard. We never saw really anything. We never saw Mike Caliendo working in with the ones in a preseason game. It seems like the Chiefs have really sold out to say, look, they did this last year, and I know how it went. It didn't even last 3 weeks. We're really going to give Kingsley every chance to win this job because his ceiling is higher. His contract is team friendly and team controlled for a number of years. You want him to win the job. I do wonder what the contingency plan is and when they would start thinking about that. So they have to know the plan now. But if it's just like, hey, send out Mike Caliendo, I will say, everybody falls in love with the backup quarterback, and in this case, fall in love with backup guards. I don't think Mike Caliendo comes in and saves the day. I think if he was going to be a starting caliber guard, the Chiefs would have just had him be their starting guard, most likely. Right. Maybe he's Nick Allegretti, Andrew Wiley, the guy that takes a little time to get up to speed and then is able to be a really nice depth piece who can start for a while and then gets a contract from Washington in both of those cases, I guess. Maybe that path is there for him, but obviously they want Kingsley to be the first guy there. I think it's totally fair to still be worried about what he's going to bring. You take the wish first. What's your one wish for this game tonight? My one wish is for the Chiefs defense to force all kinds of turnovers. That is what I wish to see. I wish to see a defense that forces turnovers. Recently, this Chiefs defense hasn't been one to force turnovers. Winning the turnover margin has basically been the Chiefs not turning the ball over and the other team kind of fumbling it and the Chiefs falling on it, right? They haven't been a team to force a defense to force turnovers. I want to see that because we know that the Chargers are going to want to run the ball. I want to see maybe a couple fumbles. That'd be great. An interception when they do drop back to throw it. That'll be great. Also, maybe this is probably more of a wish. I wish to see Trent McDuffie blitzing from the slot, man. I want to see Trent McDuffie blitzing from the slot, getting after the quarterback when he needs to, being able to use him as that chess piece, a kind of untraditional chess piece, right? Because he's a cornerback, and usually that chess piece has been a safety. It's been your Tyrann Mathieu. It's been your Justin Reed. But if you can use Trent McDuffie as that chess piece from the slot, if he can go outside, he can get in there with those wide receivers on the outside. I think this is a good matchup for him to be able to be in the slot with like Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen's really even a slot guy too. I know that he's got some size on him, but he plays from the slot. So I think it's a good matchup for Trent McDuffie to be in the slot. And I want to see this defense. I wish to see this defense force some turnovers in this game so they can win the turnover battle. It's a great call on the whole cornerback rotation. Christian Fulton played a lot week 3 of the preseason. Jalen Watson seems healthy and ready to go. So the idea that those three guys can be on the field together with McDuffie in the slot is also what I want to see. I'm very curious to see how the safeties shake out because that's been a little bit of a curveball, but that's something we'll talk about on Monday more so than today because we've talked about it a ton. We know who the players are. We just don't know what the rotation is going to be. But I'm so with you on give me a little Christian Fulton revenge game and let McDuffie be in the slot. Again, man, I'm following your wish here, but let Trent McDuffie blitz off the offense's right side and give Trey Pipkins something to think about. Right. I mean, you have a guy who he's been in that spot now for a little bit because Slater's been hurt for a little while now, but this was not where he was supposed to be this year. Go ahead and make him think like, okay, I'm going to have to either deal with George Karlaftis or some weird stuff happening. There's McDuffie off the slot. Now I'm keeping my options open. Which of these monsters at their position am I going to deal with? I think that's a really good one. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're welcome. I do love me some Trent McDuffie, especially some blitz and Trent McDuffie. And we know Spags. We know Spags going to get after it. But it is game 1, so maybe laser eyes down here somewhere. You do. Great shirt. Shout out Justin Reed for that, by the way. Great shirt. Phenomenal shirt. Great shirt. I think it was $65, but it's a quality shirt. It was for the kids. And much like the vintage, but I imagine pretty big boxy Chiefs shirt that you're rocking on the stream right now,
Yeah.
This is screen printed, so we got to hope the screen printing holds up. So far, so good. This shirt will outlive me. This is a thick, structured tee, and I appreciate that.
Embroidered
From
on
Saints
my
legend.
shirt.
Say again.
Embroidery. This is straight embroidery.
Yeah, that's
the
nice.
whole thing.
The embroidery is the best. Embroidering the Spags laser eyes would have probably been tough, but
That'd been
you got to
nuts.
embroider where you can. Maybe I'll do that, actually. Maybe I'll work on that. Here's my wish, other than a hand-embroidered Steve Spagnuolo laser eyes t-shirt. I want to see the deep ball. It's not a surprise one. I don't need to. This show's not going to run particularly late, so I can talk about the deep ball. Let me see one of those respect it shots to Tyquan Thornton, and let me see this defense, in fact, put in a difficult spot where if you see a single high safety, like happened against the Bears in week 3 of the preseason, there's a single high safety, fantastic. Do you want to go help Tyquan Thornton, cover him over there, or do you want to go help cover Xavier Worthy? You only get to pick one, and the other guy's in a foot race. And both of those guys win most of their foot races. I want to see it. I feel pretty good about this game at this point. We're leaving more on the cutting room floor because it is 1 o'clock Central Time, and our day is flying by. So thank you for hanging out with us for this hour of everything else. That's Tucker Franklin. I'm Joshua Brisco. We'll be back with this show again on Monday at noon on the KCSN YouTube channel. Tucker with KCSN Live has Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then we've got this show noon to 1 on Monday and Friday. Enjoy the game tonight. Go catch up on Only Weird Games if you missed that. There was an excellent little send-off into your football weekend at the end of that episode. We'll try to do the same. We'll talk to you on Monday. Till then, bye, Mom.